Hi there, everyone. All right, so I'm Dr. Heather Sandison, and I'm excited to introduce myself and the Clear Mind Center today. What we're doing at the Clear Mind Center is we've created an immersive experience in the way that we've created it. What we're doing at the Clear Mind Center is creating an immersive experience in the proven protocol that supports the reversal of cognitive decline and even Alzheimer's. Through my clinical practice and through my experience having created a residential facility here in San Diego called Marama, we've seen that Alzheimer's is optional. And that the hardest part about doing the work that it takes to reverse Alzheimer's is just doing it. It's getting into the lifestyle, the exercise, the diet, the environment, the social connections. It's often very challenging for people. Even people who have full cognitive function struggle to do all the things that we already know to do based on the science to help optimize their cognitive function. So what we've done is created an immersive experience where it's all done for you. So whether you're the daughter or son of someone who has dementia already, or if you're concerned about developing dementia or starting to notice those signs of dementia, we've basically taken the hard work out of it. There's no decision making about what to buy or what to do. We've just created a place where you can land, and all of that is supported for you. So how did I get into this? Originally in 2017, I trained with a gentleman named Dr. Dale Bredesen. He's on the right here in this picture. And this is him celebrating our open house and the opening of Marama here in San Diego County, the residential facility, the first of its kind, where we're able to reverse dementia. We're able to improve people's cognitive function. So Dr. Bredesen, he and I met in 2017 when I did his training. He wrote a book, a New York Times bestseller called The End of Alzheimer's. And I showed up to his training very skeptical. He was suggesting that we could end Alzheimer's, that we could reverse dementia. And I had been told by many well-meaning professors, lots of really smart people, that that wasn't possible. And when I went to his training, I was intrigued because it made sense to me that if we could stack all of the interventions that we know support brain health and neuronal health, those cells in our brain that help us remember the names of our grandchildren or remember where we put our keys, then maybe we could get improvement. I believe that the human body has the ability to heal itself. And what we need to do is just give it everything that's necessary. Take the junk out of the way and give it all of those positive things like nutrients and support, the hormonal support and signaling that helps the brain to heal. And so Dr. Bredesen essentially explained this protocol, explained that he had seen it happen, he had published some research, and now he was publishing this book. And I did that training not expecting to see much difference in my patients, but lo and behold, just weeks after his training, I had my first patient show up, a woman named Linda, who barely could respond to questions with a yes or no answer. 6 weeks later, after doing everything on the Bredesen protocol, fully immersing, her and her husband just took the bull by the horns and they did it all. They jumped in fully. And just 6 weeks later, she had remarkable improvement. When I saw what was possible for Linda, I realized we needed to change the standard of care that's out there for dementia patients, both at home and in residential facilities. And so within a year or two, I had created Marama here in San Diego, and we are showing there that we can reverse dementia pretty regularly. We have people who get better. And I'll share a few of those stories here with you today. I also host the Reverse Alzheimer's Summit. We just had our third one. This is from last year in 2022, but I partner with both Dr. Dale Bredesen, who I mentioned, the New York Times bestseller of The End of Alzheimer's, and also New York Times bestseller, Dr. David Perlmutter. Both of them are MD neurologists, and I've partnered with them each year to promote basically this new narrative around what's possible for those suffering with dementia and the steps that you can take right away to reverse cognitive decline and optimize your cognitive function really at any age. So I have the distinct pleasure of interviewing many of the experts in the field who you see their beautiful faces here. And we talk about the cutting edge of this and what they're seeing in their clinical practices and the different aspects of their area of expertise, whether it might be meditation or exercise or diet or toxins. And each of these components of reversing cognitive decline and optimizing brain function. I also am a researcher. I recently published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease a clinical trial. It was a feasibility trial showing that over the course of a 6-month intervention, we were able to raise the mean scores, MoCA scores. MoCAs are these Montreal cognitive assessments that we use to put a number on the amount of decline someone has cognitively. And so we took participants, 23 participants with MoCA scores between 12 and 23, so they have measurable cognitive decline. We measured their MoCA scores at the beginning, did 6 months of intensive intervention, and then measured again at 6 months. We also used the Cambridge Brain Sciences battery of testing, and what we found is that there was a significant increase in memory and overall cognition in the mean scores across these 23 participants over 6 months. So measurable decline to start with and measurable improvement with the intervention. Again, the hardest part about this intervention is doing it, is putting the plan to work. And so that's why I created Marama. I was seeing that over and over again in my clinical practice, that most people could get better. The ones who don't get better, who don't see improvement, are the ones who are unable to put the protocol to work at home. Now, I am not the only one who has seen these types of benefits. So in our clinical trial, again, there were 23 participants over 6 months, and we saw about 75% of them improve, and the mean scores of cognition improved over those 6 months. Another clinical trial that was spearheaded by Kat Toops, a medical MD and a researcher, as well as Dr. Bredesen, they showed that 25 participants over 9 months had 84% of them improved. So again, a significant number, the vast majority of patients who are willing to do the work, able to do the work, to put the protocol to work, have improvement in their cognition that's measurable. On the right side here is another paper that came out of Dr. Bredesen's group. And this was published by a friend of mine, Ram Rao, who he showed that 51% of participants who were enrolled in Recode, or Dr. Bredesen's AI platform, an interactive online platform, not as much handholding as with the clinical trial on the left, or with our clinical trial where there were health coaches and doctors very, very involved. This is just for people at home with access to the information about what to do. Resources like recipes, suggestions on diet and exercise and detox. These people had 51% of them had improvement. Now, the no change is also a win, because anybody who's not declining, the expectation is a 3-point drop in a MoCA score per year. And if you have no change over the course of an intervention, that alone is a win. If we can stop the progression of disease, that's actually better than any drug on the market. The new drugs that you've heard about, Aducam or lecanemab, Aduhelm, you may have heard of these. They've been in the news a lot. What they do is they slow the progression. So you don't improve anyone. You don't even get to no change. What you get is a slowing in the progression of this torturous and awful disease. So, my inspiration for this, like, why do I do this? Why have I continued to do this work? It's really because of my patients. Patrice came into my office with her son and her sister, her family, and she was struggling. She was living independently, but just barely hanging on by a thread, unable to cook for herself. And her son was lamenting, he had grown up with her cooking for him. And that was a big part of their relationship, was sharing food. She's a Filipina and made phenomenal food for her family. And they were just so sad to see her lose her dignity, her independence. And they were wondering if she should go into a home. So we started working together. And it was 7 months later that they came back, and her improvement was incredible. Her neurologist didn't even believe how much she had improved. She was able to maintain her independence, and she was actually cooking again. Her son said, "I have my mom back." She's engaging with people at the grocery store. She knows what she wants and where it is in the grocery store. And she even took the carrot peeler out of the drawer, peeled a carrot, put the carrot peeler in the dishwasher, and chopped that carrot. He hadn't seen her move around the kitchen like that in over a year. And she had this ability to cook back, which was such a big part of her identity, but also part of her independence. So we were so excited to see her regain that independence and to be able to support her. It's just such a privilege for me to be able to support people in this way. So what we do at the Clear Mind Center, again, all you have to do is show up, and we basically create a day where everything that in months, right? So the idea is that you move into this assisted living facility, and at the Clear Mind Center, the entire day is coordinated and planned around doing everything that's best for your brain. So at home, it's easy to just turn on the TV or eat the flaming hot Cheetos that are in the cupboard. But at Clear Mind Center, what we're doing is essentially duplicating what we've done at Marama here in San Diego, but creating more access for people, because at Marama here in San Diego, we've had a long wait list for about 2 years. We don't have enough space. And so at the Clear Mind Center, we're duplicating that in Kansas, in Wichita, Kansas, with phenomenal partners who I'm going to share more about. But what is it that we do? So we offer a ketogenic diet, an organic ketogenic diet, and you'll see we have breakfast, snack at around 10:30, lunch at noon, another snack in the afternoon, and then dinner at 5. And then we suggest we support a 3-hour fast between dinner and going to bed so that we can have really good digestion and then also great sleep. There's a lot of physical activity. You'll see at 9 a.m., there's typically a walk, and then in the afternoon, there's an exercise therapy circuit, which is a little bit more intensive than just a walk, getting more movement. We also do meditation or prayer every day, lots of social engagement. You get a built-in social network because you are in the physical space with other people, having meals with them, looking forward to celebrations with them, anticipating the holidays, sharing in that celebration, and then sharing in the memories of those events as well. We also invite people to share about themselves. We often use the daily chronicles as sort of a launch pad for conversation. So if it's what happened on this day in July 4th of 1980, somebody might say, oh, I remember the fireworks on my vacation with my family. Or it was a wedding, or there was a birthday, something important to them that they get to share with the group, with everyone who's there living with them. And then we also do a lot of creative arts. We might be in the garden, we might do sculpting, it might be a holiday project. I was chatting with one of my team members this morning, Carrie, who you'll also learn about, who's over here at Marama in San Diego with me, and she'll help support any of you who are interested in moving into Clear Mind Center or having a loved one move into Clear Mind Center. And we were brainstorming some new fun activities. So we have guests come who teach meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong. They bring animals. So we have a petting zoo that comes. Sometimes it's reptiles, other times it's a warm and fuzzy thing. We've got all kinds of people coming from the outside to work on art projects, some painters or some sculptors. And this just creates a fun dynamic and something new, even though we stay in the routine that supports cognitive function and prevents disorientation and too much overwhelm. We still get that newness and that excitement of additional people coming in and out to share their expertise with our residents. So the 4 pillars of the Clear Mind Center, again, adopted from Marama here in San Diego, is an organic ketogenic diet. So really great brain healing diet. And I'm going to share some ideas and a menu with you on the next page so that you can see that and get a sense of what everybody's eating. The food, I design my days so that I get to eat as much as possible at the Clear Mind Center or at Marama, because the food is so incredible. Even though it's ketogenic and it's low carb, it doesn't leave you wanting for anything. It's extremely satisfying, very nutrient dense, very, very healthy food. We also create a healing environment. So it's a non-toxic healing environment where what is anticipated, what's expected is that you are spending your days not lounging, resting when you need it, napping when you need it, but mostly engaged in brain healing activities, whether they are physical activities or creative pursuits or anything that's going to engage your brain, puzzles. And we have a long laundry list and lots of inspiration that we've gotten from our network and our community, and also from the experts in the field. We also provide exceptional care. So what we've noticed is that many people will rise to the expectations set for them. And our caregivers are trained to expect our residents to get better. We are expecting improvement each time. And so this is really fun and exciting to watch our residents improve. We also have trained the caregivers and our med techs so that they understand the intricacies of the supplements and the medications that people on the Bredesen protocol might be on. So they understand when and how to dose them, and they can keep really good track of that, because often that feels very overwhelming and complex at home. So here's an example of the menu. Feel free to take out your phone and take a quick picture of this. These are some really fantastic and yummy recipes. And here's 12 days or so of what we commonly will offer at Marama, and of course at the Clear Mind Center as well. So the Clear Mind Center, I chose to partner with Chance and his team at Axiom, who you can learn more about on their website, because they're just so passionate about the same things I am. They saw that there was this gap where there was really great science about what was the best for seniors living with cognitive decline, but it wasn't put in the place where seniors were living. And so when Chance and I spoke when we first met, he's the CEO over at Axiom who runs the Clear Mind Center. He was in ketosis. He was living the medicine that I was talking about. And as I've gotten to know him and his team, we just have more and more fun collaborating and supporting each other. And he is so dedicated to serving seniors living at the Clear Mind Center. He's been in this business also for a very long time. So Chance and his team have many accolades, including what you see here. So they've taken a wing of Avita Rolling Hills, their Wichita campus that has independent living, assisted living, memory care, and other kind of age in place. It's an age in place senior living community. And we've taken a wing of it, so just 15 beds. So there's very limited number of spots here. But we've taken those 15 beds to convert them into a Marama-like experience, or the Clear Mind Center. And the reason that I'm working with them is because they have such a degree of excellence that they are committed to. I knew intuitively that there was a better way to do senior living, and they did too. And when they saw what we were doing at Marama, they said, how can we get on board with you? How can we recreate the same thing for our residents and our community in Kansas? And so that is what we're doing. And we're excited to be sharing this with you. It's just a really fun, really collaborative experience for me, because they've been working in senior living for over 30 years. They have hundreds of years of experience in senior living between their team there. They have almost no turnover. People stick with it when they move in there, when they work there, they stay there because it's such a great experience. And so I certainly benefit from being collaborating with these guys who have so much experience in senior living and are so committed to excellence. And then they're benefiting from our expertise in terms of applying the Bredesen protocol in a senior living environment. And so we're blending the two of those things together. I wasn't surprised when I heard about all the awards that these guys have been receiving. And I just got an email this morning that they got another award this week. It's a national award, and they're the only people in Kansas who have won it. And so I'm extremely impressed by them, and my experience collaborating with them has been just this incredible synergy and also a lot of fun. And I think that comes through at the senior living facility. The residents who are living there already are having a really good time. Their families are so delighted that they're there and they're seeing results. And so I wanted to share the story of Judy, who she moved in with us here in San Diego in May of 2020, excuse me. So right during the pandemic, and her daughter had been driving back and forth from LA, their daughter, and she was worried that, they were missing appointments with the gardener or the roofer or, whoever was supposed to come by and help with their house maintenance. They were confused about going to doctor's appointments and not making it. And she realized that they weren't going to be able to live independently. And it was really a risk, especially in the height of COVID, where people were so isolated and it was hard to find the support that you needed, including grocery shopping. And so we decided that Marama was a great fit for them. So when Judy moved in, my daughter would come to Marama here in San Diego with me, and she was outside, right, because it was COVID. And so Judy could see her running back and forth and up and down the path. And when I would come in, she would say, "Hey, you have a child, you have a baby, don't you? How old is your baby? Is it a boy or a girl? What's her name?" And then she would tell me about raising her daughter and how, the joys of her early years and then her teenage years, and lament having to keep her in line. And then she'd say, "You have a child, right? Do you have children? How old is your child? What's her name? Is she a boy or a girl?" So Judy's so sweet, always, is super inquisitive and just engaging, but forgetful and confused often. And it was really challenging. It was challenging for her relationship, of course, with her husband, and also challenging for maintaining the relationship with her daughter. She had to be told multiple times, had very little short-term memory. Fast forward to just a couple months ago, she is admonishing her daughter when her daughter tells her something more than once, and she finishes her sentences for her, tells her, "You've already told me you're coming on Saturday. You don't have to tell me again. I know." And when I saw her recently, she asked me, how's your daughter? She must be almost 4.5. I remember her birthday is in December. She remembers my daughter's name now and asks about her by name. So Judy isn't just remembering the details of her own daughter's life. She's carrying on conversations and the thread of conversations across meetings with people like me who aren't even her close family. And her daughter has expressed to me that she has her life back. She doesn't spend as much time worried about her parents. She even has her mom back. They have that relationship back because her mom has her short-term memory back. And this is the power of what we are doing at Marama and the Clear Mind Center. It's that ability to get back those relationships. I was at a funeral not long ago. A dear friend of mine lost her husband in a tragic accident. And during the eulogy, her brother-in-law, his brother, was describing the text messages that he would send and how devastating it was that he would never get another one. And he said, what I would do, what I would give to get one more of those text messages from my brother. And this is essentially what the Clear Mind Center is. It's that I would do anything. It's that ability to get back one more anniversary, one more Christmas, one more summer, one more family reunion where you get to connect with that loved one. And so I invite you to apply if you have any interest. There, you will get that peace of mind. You will know that you are getting the best in brain health, the best in community, and you won't need to worry that you're missing something, that you're not doing everything you can to get your cognitive health back. And so you can go to this maramaexperience.com/apply to find the application page. I want to share also the story of Christine. She moved in also in 2020, and she was having lots of falls. She had stumbled. She was living in a different senior living community. And her daughter was so frustrated having her there because they weren't willing to support her in an organic ketogenic diet and a brain healthy diet. She was being fed cake and cookies and ice cream, and everybody around her was eating pizza and pasta and sandwiches and cereal. This is a high carb, very inexpensive, so great for, people who are focused on making the most money, but it's the worst thing that you can do for brain health is a bunch of carbohydrates. What we want are nutrient dense foods that are going to help with cognition and stimulate the production of new neurons and the production of new synapses or the connections between them. And that brain healthy diet is an organic, non-processed ketogenic diet. And so we offer that at Marama and at Clear Mind Center. Also, she was being discouraged from getting out of her bed because she was a fall risk. She had had a couple of falls. And so they didn't want to, use the labor to have someone assist her every time she got up. And they also didn't want her getting out of bed and having another fall. So they had her using incontinence diapers. They had her stay in bed and watch TV basically. And it was so just inspiring to watch her transform when she came to Marama. She went from being in a lot of pain to having much less pain. She became much more engaged. You can see her playing bingo here and also in the garden. She became so much more engaged with the community and in the games and in all of the interaction. She was teaching us about what plants to plant next to each other in the greenhouse so that the pests stay away, and for the best plants to plant in the right seasons. She was just a wealth of knowledge when it came to caring for plants in the garden. She had all of this experience to share with others, and she was just so delighted to be in the company of others in a really engaged way. And what we saw was her cognition improved. Even her family was saying how much more engaged, how much more present she was, how they could carry on a conversation with her again. Had she stayed in the other senior living facility, she probably would have just withered away. There was no sense of purpose. There was no sense of belonging. And there was a discouragement of the most healthy brain activities, including the right diet, the right engagement, and the right movement. And so she is such a success that her daughter, Momi, was actually interviewed on the summit I did recently. And her daughter is planning to open her own senior living facility in the Los Angeles area, again, using the framework that we have at Marama with this brain healthy lifestyle. So it was such an inspiring transformation for her mom that her daughter wants to make this available to even more people, as do we. So again, it's peace of mind that you, as a loved one of someone with dementia, or if you are looking to prevent dementia, you get this peace of mind that you're getting the best in brain health. You don't have to worry that you're missing something. You don't have to worry that that there's something on the table that you could be taking advantage of that you don't know about or that you don't have access to. It's all done for you so that you can make the most of your cognition at any stage. And you join this priceless community. These, the people that have moved into Marama, they are the best of friends. Again, they're looking forward to holidays and birthdays and anniversaries and all of the celebrations. They have this shared experience, this phenomenal shared experience. And we see them cheering each other on. When somebody's making progress and they can see it, they celebrate that together. When family comes to visit, they get to meet each other's families, their adult children and grandchildren. And it's just absolutely heartwarming to see and watch, and just an incredible privilege for me to have the ability to create these places and facilitate this amazing transformation, both here in San Diego and at the Clear Mind Center in Wichita, Kansas. So what happens next is, if you're interested, for you or a loved one to move into the Clear Mind Center, what you'll do is go to maramaexperience.com. We're partnered with the Clear Mind Center and working with them. And Harry, who is pictured here, our director of operations, will have a one-on-one call with you and your loved ones to make sure it's the right fit, right? We want to understand your unique situation. We want to be sure that we can meet your needs. And then we want to make sure that this is all feasible for you, that it makes sense, and that we can really help. And so Carrie will have a lengthy discussion with you, and it's really easy to schedule that call. There are very few rooms available. So here in San Diego, we have 12 spaces available. and we have been sold out. We've had a wait list for over 2 years now. And so that is why we are partnered with the group in Wichita. They have such high integrity. They do such a good job. Our values are so aligned. And they had, following COVID, they had a unit available that we could dedicate to this Bredesen approach, this Marama style immersive experience. And so apply today. These spots are going to go fast. We've just opened up in the spring of 2023, and these spots will not last long. I expect that we will have a wait list there by the fall of 2023. So if you have any interest at all, get on the waiting list, apply now, have that call with Carrie, and let's see if we can make some radical transformations happen for you and your loved ones. Also, I want everyone to know that this is a picture of the Clear Mind Center. Right outside the unit, there's this beautiful lake and there's a dock where you can fish off of. And I personally went to Wichita. I'll be back there again in the next couple months. And I trained their staff. So their staff are very well trained. We're in constant, I had a phone call with them this morning. So we're in constant communication. We're partnered with Bredesen trained doctors in Kansas. There's a very home-like atmosphere, and every room in Kansas, so it's better than San Diego in a lot of ways, because every room there has a private room, not only a private room, but a private bathroom, and everything is ADA compliant. So you don't have to worry about trip or fall hazards. Everything has been designed to minimize trip and fall hazards. There are no stairs, and there's a beautiful outdoor courtyard, outdoor garden, and there's also an atrium, kind of like a sunroom, and that's where the exercise circuit happens. So we have all of the amenities that we have here in San Diego, including the LiVo2, the oxygen contrast, the V-Light, red light therapies, Juve light. We have the mini trampolines or rebounders. We've got all the exercise equipment. We've got saunas and the biomat, all of this equipment that is used, and the residents get on a circuit basically during the afternoon. And so all of that is there in this really beautiful location. I was so blown away by the layout and just the beauty of the place, of the facility in Wichita. It was just stunning and so well designed. So Marama and the Clear Mind Center, this is memory recovery instead of memory care. This is a beautiful picture from outside, right outside the facility there, and in amongst the gardens and the lawn. It's really a stunning place. So the difference, what we're talking about is not memory care. It's memory recovery. It's at the very least a stabilization and decline. And what we've seen over and over again, that it's been such a blessing for so many people to get some recovery. And so you don't have to sit in confusion about what to do for your loved one with Alzheimer's. There is an option, and there is a possibility that they can get better. And the earlier we intervene, the better. So I highly encourage people to take the opportunity. We've had lovely couples move in where maybe one has a little bit worse cognitive decline than the other, but they come to Marama or to the Clear Mind Center. They enjoy the experience together. They learn the recipes. They understand the lifestyle. They get on the routine and in the rhythm, and then they move home and they do that together at home. So it's just a really phenomenal way to learn about this lifestyle, feel what it feels like to do it, get that bit of recovery, and then take it and translate it into your own home. We are the only memory care facility, the only senior living facility where our goal is not for you to stay there and die, but is for you to go home and regain independence. Now, it doesn't happen every time. And of course, our confidence is higher the earlier along in the disease process you are, but that is our goal every time, is that people regain cognition fully and they're able to return to independent living. So if you are like Mary, who she and her husband came to Marama because she was starting to experience some memory decline, and they were totally committed to the Bredesen protocol, but really struggling to implement it at home. They had grandkids coming by who wanted to have cake and ice cream, and they were used to grandma baking cinnamon rolls for them and cookies. And it was really hard to get out of their routine at home. And so she was committed to the process. She'd been trying to do it from home, but never fully implementing it. And she felt like if she had more support, she would be able to do it. So her and her husband moved in together. And sure enough, she started seeing results, and they have since moved home. So really, really exciting. Her kids her grandkids are in college, and she and her husband are excited to travel. They had been helping with the grandkids, but now that even they are starting to grow up and fly, spread their wings, she and her husband are excited to travel again in a way that would have been impossible when she was kind of going down that slippery slope of cognitive decline just 8 months ago. And then Lisa was struggling to remember the names of her grandchildren. And moving into Marama was very, very helpful for her. She is now able to remember the names of her grandkids. She also struggled. Her dad had Alzheimer's, and she remembers very clearly taking care of him and how torturous it was for her to experience that long goodbye that is Alzheimer's, as her dad slowly declined while he was living with her. He couldn't remember her kids' names. And that disconnection and that loss of relationship is so tragic. And for many people, is not necessary. There are things, it takes effort, it takes work, it takes time, but there are things that people can do to recover some cognitive capacity. So I will never tell someone there isn't hope. There is a ton of hope for those suffering with Alzheimer's. And we have essentially a very high touch way of getting you the protocol that's been shown by the research to support the reversal of Alzheimer's. So what you would do is, again, go to the page and fill out the initial application. We have a series of questions that help us get to know you, and then you'll schedule a call with Carrie. So you and Carrie will go through your unique situation, and with Carrie as a partner, you will determine whether the Clear Mind Center in Kansas is the best place for you or a loved one. And then she'll guide you through the process from everywhere from collecting that initial information to the move-in day. And you'll get the best results fully implementing the Bredesen protocol through the Clear Mind Center in Kansas. And we can't wait to meet you. We can't wait to learn more about your unique situation. I just want to thank you for watching this and for being here and for looking into what you can do either for yourself or a loved one. You are a pioneer in this space. For years, we've been told there's nothing you can do for Alzheimer's. There's nothing you can do for dementia, that there's no medication that will help. And that's essentially true still. But what's not accurate is that there's nothing you can do. There are many things that you can do. And there is a ton of research that shows that the lifestyle changes, including the decisions you make every day about what food we put in our mouths, about what time we go to bed, about how we spend our time and what we allow in terms of media and relationships, what we allow in terms of food. Each of these things makes a huge impact on our cognition at any stage, whether we're preventing, we're at those earliest stages, or we have severe decline. There is hope for everyone. I have seen miracles happen over and over again at both Marama and at my clinic. And we're beginning to see them at the brand new Clear Mind Center. So you are the inspiration. The fact that you're willing to show up here, that you know there's something more out there that can be done. The fact that you are so dedicated, that you are so caring, that you are so loving, that you are persevering and giving your attention to your loved one who is suffering, or preventing, your children from suffering as they lose you. This is what it's going to take to change the narrative that there's nothing you can do for Alzheimer's, is when you at home see the benefits of implementing this protocol. We are here to help. I'm so grateful to you for your time and attention, and we can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to move to questions. A couple of questions that we've gotten recently, and I think I answered some of them in the webinar here, but there are private rooms. So at the Clear Mind Center, we have all private rooms and all private bathrooms. Each of the rooms has a full bed and a closet. There's plenty of space. They're nice, spacious rooms. And they each have their own bathroom that includes the toilet, sink, and shower. Many of the senior living facilities won't have a shower because of the fall risk. The bathroom is the most likely place for someone to slip and fall. And so many of our residents really appreciate the privacy of an exclusive bathroom for themselves. And the Clear Mind Center is set up that way. It's really this amazing, unique design. There are 2 wings. So there's basically 8 rooms on either side around a central living space. And then in between is the dining area, in between the 2 wings of 8. And it's just really set up for community, which is so lovely. On one end, it's a little bit more chill. It's where the meditation happens. And sometimes we'll do sing-alongs over there. And the other side is more set up for games, for interaction, for playing chess or cards or bananagrams, whatever's on the agenda. And then in between is the dining area. And right on the outside of that is the atrium where the activities happen. So it's this really beautiful space that's just set up to encourage the residents to enjoy time together, to get to know each other, engage in the games, engage in the physical activity, and also engage, of course, with staff. And so the setup is fantastic, all ADA compliant. So lots has gone into thinking through trip and fall prevention. And lots of natural light. Every bedroom has a window to the outside, so there's plenty of natural light. And the facility has this very warm feeling. There are no stairs. Like I mentioned, there's the lake right outside, the outdoor courtyard and the garden beds. And so there's opportunity to engage in that. Kansas is very seasonal, so it'll get cold and it'll get hot, but there's shade in the heat. And also the atrium gives us a nice way to it's like a sunroom in the winter where you're still getting that natural light, but you're not getting the exposure to the cold. How is our program different from general senior living? So again, we have the expectation that people will get better and the goal that they will return to independent living. So typically when you move into senior living, they might say that they have some healthy things going on, like you could get a massage or you could, do brain games or do something that's special for cognition and memory. However, often it's just lip service to that. They don't have the staff to support it. They definitely are not going to offer a special diet unless it's medical, and maybe they do a slightly lower carb diet for those with diabetes, but it's not going to be organic. And so it's really a very, very different experience to come to a place like the Clear Mind Center, where our commitment is to doing everything that the science supports in terms of reversing cognitive decline and optimizing cognitive function. So it's diet, it's exercise, it's activities, it's social engagement. It is also the way that our staff are trained to expect people to get better and be supporting them and celebrating them in that. It's an encouragement to get involved, not a discouragement like what Christine was experiencing to stay in bed and not move because you're a fall risk. But more an encouragement and a facilitation and enough staffing to make sure that you can take advantage of all of these activities and that we're interacting with you and your loved one in a way that supports it. So we've had different personalities, of course, and the staff are trained to support each of those personalities. So for example, we had a resident who would stick around if we said, oh, we're going to miss you if you leave. If you don't play this after dinner game with us, we're going to miss you so much. You have to stick around. And she would turn right around and sit down. And if you said that to one of the gentlemen who lived there, he would be like, oh, I don't care if you miss me, I'll see you another time. But if we said to him that we needed help, that one of the other residents needed help, can you help him play this card game? Or can you help her use her bingo card? He would sit right back down and help. And so understanding the different dynamics between the relationships between the staff and the residents, and then the residents themselves, and what inspires and what motivates each resident is really, really important. And our staff is trained to look for that and use it to keep the residents engaged. Many times what you'll see in other senior living facilities is that as someone says, all right, good night, I'm going to bed, everyone says, okay, see you tomorrow. There's no engagement. There's no there's no effort put into keeping them around to continue to engage. Now, of course, if somebody needs a nap, we support them in getting a nap. If they need help with something, if they need to take some time off, all within reason. But there's effort made to keep them engaged so that they're not just checked out. And then we also put a lot of effort into, somebody's asking about the environment, if I could expand more on the environment and what that means. So all of our mattresses are organic, our linens are organic cotton, as well as the towels. The food is organic, and we use all non-toxic cleaning supplies. We have, and I over the years have had many patients who are highly sensitive to toxic chemicals, especially cleaning agents. So we use all non-toxic cleaning agents. And we're committed to environmental sustainability, and most importantly to neuronal health. And many, like air fresheners, those can be highly toxic and they can trigger and stimulate inflammation in the brain. So we want to keep anything like that out of the facility. So we ask that women, including staff, not wear perfumes, that we keep the smells just coming from the kitchen, and that they're good, high quality, natural smells. And then also, of course, the food is non-toxic. So we really go out of our way to create a non-toxic environment. We also run air filters. If there's ever any water damage or potential for mold, we are very aggressive about treating that, remediating that, making sure it's a completely mold-free environment. So I think that gets to all of the questions I have here. If anyone else who's on this call has some questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will bid you adieu, and thank you so much again for your time and attention and commitment to changing the narrative around what's possible for those suffering with Alzheimer's. Thank you. Bye-bye.